Not all the current attention around Tesla has been good. The business has been the subject of intense media attention due to everything from explosive occurrences to difficulties reaching production goals. You've most likely heard about it from a variety of people, including your uncle, doctor, and neighbor. It appears that everyone has an opinion. Today's focus, however, is on determining the precise circumstances behind the now famous Cybertruck explosion rather than on speculation or opinions. The news literally hit like a bomb. A Cybertruck apparently exploded on the doorway of a hotel bearing the Trump name, igniting dramatic headlines in the media.
Officials in Vegas talking now about the Cybertruck attack.
As many of you went to sleep last night, and I just want to give you an update on a lot of what it is that we found of the Cybertruck.
Confusion regarding the actual events resulted from the coverage's deceptive and frequently outright inaccurate information. The Associated Press headline, which suggested that the vehicle was somehow to blame for the explosion, was possibly the most obvious example. A security camera saw a Cybertruck exploding in flames, and news outlets were inundated with images and videos of the truck. It looked like a simple case, a Cybertruck that caught fire on its own, and the battery was to blame. No, it wasn't just an instance of an electric car catching fire on its own, although not in the manner implied by the headlines. The Cybertruck did contribute to the explosion. As more information became available, it became clear that the truck itself wasn't the origin of the explosion. Rather, it was a detonation inside the vehicle. The driver of the Cybertruck, who had been booked via the Turo car-sharing service, had packed it with explosives, including petrol tanks, fireworks-style mortars, and camping fuel, all of which were hidden inside the truck's bed and cabin. The driver, who sadly shot himself just before the explosion, was thought to have set off these explosives. This may not have been shocking to individuals who follow the Tesla community closely or who rely on X, previously Twitter, for their news. But for the general public, the confusion was exacerbated by deceptive headlines and the absence of follow-up information from the majority of sources. Many media sources just kept the original, inaccurate reports up, while some later changed their stories. He said that by directing the majority of the blast upward rather than outward, the Cybertruck structure actually helped to control the explosion. Even the glass doors of the Trump Hotel lobby, which were right in front of the explosion, were unscathed, greatly reducing the extent of the damage. He added that the truck's tires were still inflated and that the battery pack never caught fire. Musk said Tesla would fix the vehicle and get it back out on the road. In actuality, the explosion was not caused by the Cybertruck. Rather, it was discovered that the explosion was caused by an internal explosive within the truck that was triggered by someone who had hired the car via Turo, a car-sharing service. It came out that the vehicle had been laden with explosives, including big fireworks-style mortars, camping fuel, and petrol tanks, so it wasn't just the batteries that malfunctioned or caught fire. These things were hidden in the bed and in the cabin of the truck. These explosives were thought to have been set off by the person seated inside the truck, and the explosion happened when they detonated. The fact that this person tragically had also shot himself just before the explosion added to the story's complexity and left many questions regarding the motivations behind the crime unsolved. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, swiftly addressed the event on social media, providing clarification in his customary straightforward manner. Musk responded to the media's inaccurate portrayal of the incident in a number of posts, claiming that the explosion was brought on by the explosives within the vehicle rather than the truck itself. He assured the audience that the battery pack in the car was not the source of the fire and that it was really uninjured. Elon continued by explaining that the damage had been minimized because the blast had been controlled and directed upward by the truck's sturdy steel body. Musk claims that this aspect of the Cybertruck's design made it a regrettable but useful bomb option that, ironically, contained the majority of the explosion's force. The hotel's glass doors, which were right in front of the truck, held up well against the explosion's catastrophic power. Even in a situation as dire as this, the Cybertruck essentially performed its function as an invincible vehicle. Musk further emphasized how resilient the truck's architecture was by pointing out that the tires were still filled following the explosion. He even made a joke about Tesla being able to buff out the scratches and get the vehicle back on the road after it was retrieved. This became an unintentional advertisement for the Cybertruck's capabilities and was a sly jab at the media's propensity to malign electric cars for such accidents. It became evident that the first media coverage of the tragedy had been seriously flawed when more information became available. Elon Musk and Tesla responded by considering suing the media outlets that had inaccurately covered the story. Musk made hints that it might be time to file a lawsuit, namely against media organizations that had failed to update their articles or change their headlines. A group of 1,767 Tesla shareholders, representing more than 5 million shares, really wrote to the company's board to ask them to think about taking legal action to compensate for the loss caused by the false media claims. Many media outlets maintained their initial dramatic headlines, which only served to reinforce the misleading narrative, even though some did amend their reports. This was a serious issue for Tesla, particularly given the potential long-term effects of the deceptive media on public opinion. However, despite the bad headlines, some brand advocates viewed the incident as evidence of the Cybertruck's ability to withstand harsh conditions. Even though the explosion was a terrible incident, it unintentionally brought attention to the toughness, fire resistance, and durability that Tesla had been emphasizing in the Cybertruck's design. The explosion was a practical test of the car's resistance to damaging forces, even though Tesla never intended to display these capabilities in such a dramatic manner. In this case, the Cybertruck's strong steel body, nearly twice as thick as the exterior of an average car, was advantageous. Additionally, steel is more heat-resistant than standard aluminum body panels, which probably help keep the heat and explosion within the car to a minimum. In a world where consumers prioritize durability and safety, this incident demonstrated the Cybertruck's design's potential effectiveness in harsh environments. The Cybertruck's reputation as a robust, nearly indestructible vehicle was further enhanced by the fact that it withstood the force of the explosion, even though no one would ever want such a dangerous occurrence to happen. It's debatable if this was a lucky break for Tesla's marketing campaigns, but it undoubtedly presented a significantly different picture than the one that the media first presented. Even though the media sensationalized the explosion, it inadvertently demonstrated the Cybertruck's design's extraordinary resilience. In reality, the tale was much more complicated than the headlines and initial confusion, with the cause of the explosion being completely outside the car. This event serves as a reminder of the importance of truthful reporting, as well as evidence of the Cybertruck's resilience in the face of the most severe and unimaginable circumstances. As Tesla turns to the future, this instance highlights the value of creative engineering that puts durability and safety first, demonstrating that even in the face of difficulty, excellent design can make all the difference. To ensure you never miss an update, remember to hit that notification bell, like this video, and subscribe to our channel. Keep checking back for additional in-depth analysis, the most recent information, and all the information you require regarding Tesla and other topics. We appreciate your time and hope to see you at the next one.